Rush Hour, 1998. Released in 1998, Rush Hour became a breakout success for both Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker, combining martial arts with comedy in a way that had never quite been seen before in Hollywood. Directed by Brett Ratner, the film is a buddy cop action comedy that set the stage for two sequels and cemented its place as a beloved part of late 90s cinema. The story kicks off with Jackie Chan playing Inspector Lee, a Hong Kong cop who is dispatched to Los Angeles to help track down a kidnapped Chinese diplomat's daughter. Lee is paired up with Detective James Carter, played by Chris Tucker, a fast-talking, wisecracking LAPD officer who's eager to prove himself. Initially, the two clash, with Lee's serious demeanor and martial arts expertise contrasting sharply with Carter's over-the-top personality. However, as the story progresses, they develop a strong partnership that relies on both their strengths: Lee's martial arts prowess and Carter's street smarts. The plot is simple but effective. The two unlikely partners team up to rescue the diplomat's daughter and bring the kidnappers to justice. The tension between their differing approaches to solving the case leads to plenty of comedic moments, while Chan's elaborate fight sequences and Tucker's fast-paced verbal humor keep the audience entertained. Jackie Chan's fight choreography, which mixes impressive stunts with humor, is at the heart of the film, and his chemistry with Chris Tucker is undeniable. One of the key themes of Rush Hour is the clash of cultures. Jackie Chan's character Lee is serious, disciplined, and reserved, while Chris Tucker's Carter is loud, brash, and often unaware of his cultural ignorance. The tension between them comes from their contrasting worlds, one from the rigidly structured police force in Hong Kong, and the other from the chaotic, often unpredictable world of LA street cops. Their evolving friendship and mutual respect is what ultimately drives the film. The film's success led to two sequels, Rush Hour 2, 2001, and Rush Hour 3 Slee, 2007. While both follow the same formula as the original, each is set in different international locations. Rush Hour 2 star takes place in Hong Kong, while Rush Hour 3 takes the action to Paris. The chemistry between Chan and Tucker remains strong in the sequels, though they didn't quite capture the magic of the original. When looking at Jackie Chan's career around the time of Rush Hour, it's important to remember that he had already established himself as a martial arts legend in Hong Kong cinema with films like Police Story, 1985, Drunken Master, 1978, and Rumble in the Bronx, 1995. Rush Hour was his big Hollywood crossover, where he combined his martial arts abilities with mainstream appeal. For Chris Tucker, Rush Hour was a major leap in his career, following his success in films like Friday, 1995, and Money Talks, 1997. Tucker's fast-talking, high-energy style meshed perfectly with Chan's physicality, and it propelled both actors into stardom in Hollywood. The success of Rush Hour didn't just come from its action or its comedy. It was also in the way it was able to blend cultures. The way the film used humor to highlight the cultural misunderstandings between Lee and Carter added an extra layer of enjoyment to the film, making it relatable for a broad audience while still staying true to Jackie Chan's background in Hong Kong cinema. As for other similar films, Rush Hour shares much in common with the buddy cop genre. Movies like Lethal Weapon, 1987, which also involves a mismatched pairing of law enforcement officers, served as a blueprint for Rush Hour. However, Rush Hour is unique in that it merges Jackie Chan's physical action and fight choreography with the buddy cop formula, which had typically been more about banter and less about martial arts. The success of Rush Hour paved the way for other buddy cop comedies, such as Bad Boys, 1995, and its sequels, as well as films like The Other Guys, 2010. Another aspect of Rush Hour that stood out was the film's incorporation of Chan's stunt work. Unlike many Hollywood films where actors perform their stunts with doubles, Jackie Chan is known for doing his own stunts, and Rush Hour is no different. His fight scenes are brilliantly choreographed and involve intricate use of the environment, which not only makes the action exciting, but often hilarious. One of the standout moments in the movie is a fight scene in a Chinese restaurant, where Jackie Chan takes on several bad guys using just his environment. Everything from tables to chairs becomes a weapon in his hands. It's a testament to Chan's skill and his commitment to his craft. The movie also introduced the world to Chris Tucker's comedic brilliance, especially his rapid-fire delivery and his ability to riff off of Chan's more serious demeanor. While Tucker may have been best known for his role in Friday before Rush Hour, this film cemented his place as one of the most unique comedic actors of the late 90s. His work in the Rush Hour series helped him maintain a presence in Hollywood during the early 2000s. As for the sequels, while both Rush Hour 2 and Rush Hour 3 are enjoyable in their own right, they don't quite have the same magic as the first film. The formula starts to feel a bit repetitive, and while the action scenes are still solid, they lack the novelty that made the first film so exciting. Nonetheless, the Rush Hour films remain an iconic part of the action comedy genre and hold a special place in the hearts of fans, particularly for their ability to blend humor, action, and cultural diversity. To sum it up, Rush Hour is an action comedy that stands the test of time. It's a film that introduced a unique and hilarious dynamic between two of Hollywood's most unlikely action stars, Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. With its unforgettable fight scenes, memorable catchphrases, and a fantastic blend of cultures, Rush Hour remains one of the most successful and beloved action comedy films of all time. Wheels on Meals, 1984, is a classic Jackie Chan action comedy featuring him at the height of his physical prowess, mixed with his trademark humor and incredible stunt work. Directed by Sammo Hung, one of Chan's frequent collaborators, this film stands out as a perfect example of the action comedy genre that was popular in Hong Kong cinema during the 80s. But Wheels on Meals isn't just another martial arts movie. It's a film that explores friendship, love, and the blend of comedy and high-octane action, giving Jackie Chan fans a glimpse into the kind of character-driven story that was part of many of his early works. Plot. The film takes place in Barcelona, where Jackie Chan's character, Thomas, and his friend David, played by the legendary Sammo Hung, run a food truck business, serving meals to the locals. They also find themselves in the middle of a scheme involving a kidnapped woman, Sylvia, played by popular actress Lola Forner. Sylvia's father, a wealthy businessman, has hired a gang to kidnap her in order to extort money. Thomas and David, despite their skills and some initial reluctance, end up rescuing Sylvia and taking on the criminals in their usual slapstick, action-packed style. The plot isn't too complex, but that's the charm of the movie. It's simple, lighthearted, and serves as a perfect backdrop to showcase Jackie Chan's exceptional martial arts choreography and Sammo Hung's comedic timing. The chemistry between the two leads is electric, with their contrasting personalities creating an entertaining dynamic, as Jackie's more reserved and serious character pairs off against Sammo's bumbling and goofy persona. Characters. Jackie Chan's character Thomas is the classic straight man who's skilled in martial arts but somewhat more serious than his sidekick David, played by Sammo Hung. The interplay between the two characters, especially their comedic moments, forms the heart of the movie. There's also Sylvia, who provides the emotional weight of the plot, being caught in the middle of the kidnapping plot. Her involvement is less about being a damsel in distress, and more about being a character who can hold her own in the chaos. But perhaps the standout feature of Wheels on Meals is how it blends Jackie Chan's martial arts prowess with his comedic skills. He's not just a martial artist. He's a performer who incorporates comedy into his fights, making the choreography feel more like an elaborate dance than a fight scene. Themes. At its core, Wheels on Meals explores themes of friendship, loyalty, and justice. The bond between Thomas and David is central to the film, and the way they have each other's backs throughout the movie makes for a solid foundation for the action-packed storyline. While the plot may be centered around a kidnapping, it's the personal connections and the fun, often hilarious dynamic between the characters that truly drive the movie forward. The other theme that resonates is the idea of using one's skills for good. Thomas and David aren't trained heroes out to save the day. They're just regular guys who happen to be good at martial arts and end up in a situation where they can't back down. It's a bit of an everyman hero vibe, which Jackie Chan has become famous for in many of his films. Jackie Chan's early career and transition. When Wheels on Meals was released in 1984, Jackie Chan was already a well-established star in Hong Kong cinema. He had worked in films since he was a child, initially as a stuntman, and by the early 80s, he had transitioned into leading roles with movies like Drunken Master, 1978, and Project A, 1983. However, Wheels on Meals marks a significant point in Chan's career, as it solidifies his move toward a more accessible form of cinema, blending humor with intense action sequences. The physicality of his stunts was a key element, and it wasn't just about fighting. It was about how he interacted with his environment, using everyday objects like tables, chairs, and even the food in his truck to create memorable, highly inventive fight scenes. It was also a sign of things to come as Chan eventually transitioned into Hollywood films in the 90s, with hits like Rumble in the Bronx, 1995, and Rush Hour, 1998. While Wheels on Meals may not have had the massive crossover appeal of those films, it laid the foundation for his successful entry into the international market, showcasing his unique style of action comedy. Fight sequences and stunts. Speaking of stunts, Wheels on Meals features some of Jackie Chan's most remarkable choreography, which would become a hallmark of his career. The fight scenes are fast-paced, creative, and executed with precision. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Jackie Chan was known for performing his own stunts, often without the use of special effects. The fights in this movie are a perfect blend of athleticism, creativity, and humor. One particularly memorable sequence takes place in a restaurant kitchen, where Jackie uses the surroundings in ways you wouldn't expect, flipping over counters and using cooking utensils in inventive ways to take down his opponents. There's also a great physical comedy element to the action sequences, as Jackie Chan's timing with his stunts often mimics a slapstick routine. This combination of comedy and action is one of the reasons Chan became so beloved in his early career. The impact of Wheels on Meals and similar films. Wheels on Meals is part of a broader genre of martial arts films in the 80s that emphasized more than just fight scenes. It blended comedy, stunt work, and character-driven storytelling. Films like Drunken Master and Police Story, 1985, would continue to build on this formula, with Jackie Chan's films standing out from other action stars by virtue of his charisma, physical comedy, and involvement in every aspect of production, from stunt choreography to direction. As for similar films, the buddy cop genre of the late 80s and early 90s, particularly those involving martial arts, drew inspiration from Jackie Chan's films. Movies like Lethal Weapon, 1987, and Rush Hour, 1998, the latter with Jackie Chan himself, feature a similar dynamic of contrasting characters working together to save the day, combining intense action with comedic banter. Outtakes and fun moments. One of the things that fans love about Jackie Chan movies is the famous outtakes that often play during the credits. In Wheels on Meals, as in many of his films, the outtakes are as entertaining as the movie itself. Watching Jackie and Sammo Hung laugh and struggle through stunts is a testament to the camaraderie on set and the hard work that goes into making these sequences look so effortless. These moments not only humanize the action, but remind viewers of the risks and hard work involved in performing these stunts. Conclusion. In conclusion, Wheels on Meals is a brilliant example of Jackie Chan's early work and a fun, action-packed film in its own right. It perfectly balances high-energy fight scenes with comedy, showing off the incredible physicality and creativity that would come to define Jackie Chan's career. Whether you're a fan of martial arts films, action comedies, or simply looking to appreciate the transition of Jackie Chan from Hong Kong cinema to Hollywood, Wheels on Meals is a must-watch. It may not be as widely known in the West as some of his later hits, but it holds an important place in the evolution of Jackie Chan's career, showcasing his skills as a stuntman, actor, and comedian. And as always, the outtakes remind us that Jackie Chan is just as charming off-screen as he is on-screen. The Myth, 2005, Jackie Chan's epic adventure of action, comedy, and mythology. The Myth, 2005 is one of Jackie Chan's more unique and ambitious films. Directed by Stanley Tong, This movie blends elements of adventure, action, fantasy, and comedy into a period drama that's unlike many of Chan's typical action comedy roles. It's a fascinating journey where modern-day technology meets ancient legend. Plot and characters. The movie follows Jackie Chan as two characters, one in the modern-day world and one in ancient China. In the present, he plays a Hong Kong archaeologist named Jack, who stumbles upon an ancient myth involving the legendary Emperor Qin Shi Huang. Meanwhile, the other part of the story shows Chan as General Meng Yi, who was once loyal to the emperor. The central storyline focuses on Jack as he unravels a mystery tied to the emperor's lost tomb and the immortal elixir. As he gets deeper into the story, he finds himself caught between an ancient myth and a modern-day treasure hunt. Alongside him is a beautiful woman named Sophie, played by Kim Hee-sun, who is part of the search. And there's also the ever-present comic relief that Jackie Chan is famous for bringing to the screen. The characters are fun, and the movie's core focuses on the adventure of unearthing history while navigating a modern world that still remains very much connected to the ancient legends of the past. The action is a mix of breathtaking stunts and beautifully choreographed fight sequences. Jackie Chan's signature balance of humor and gravity-defying stunts shine throughout, making the myth an adventure that you don't want to miss. Stunts and action sequences. When it comes to Jackie Chan's films, the action is always a major highlight, and the myth is no exception. The film is a showcase for Chan's stunts, as expected, with some breathtaking action scenes that see him combining martial arts with acrobatics in very creative ways. The fights in this movie are fun, fluid, and involve a great deal of physicality, as well as traditional Chan-style humor. You also get a glimpse of his martial arts mastery in more fantastical elements, especially with the ancient set segments of the movie. But what really sets the myth apart is its dual-era story, where you get both grounded stunts in the modern world and more elaborate period-specific action scenes. Chan executes impressive sword fights, horseback chases, and even a memorable sequence involving him leaping between moving vehicles in the modern-day sequences. Themes. At its core, the myth is about the eternal quest for immortality, the consequences of meddling with ancient powers, and the lines between myth and reality. The film explores how modern civilization constantly tries to connect with or even discover answers to ancient mysteries. But beyond that, it touches on ideas of loyalty, friendship, and the idea that some things, like love, are timeless. The modern world versus the ancient world is a recurring theme here, giving the film a unique feel as Chan moves between two vastly different eras. The film's exploration of history and mythology ties into the global obsession with discovering ancient secrets. Similar to films like Indiana Jones or Tomb Raider, it's a fun ride through history, but it also presents a deeper philosophical element about the danger and allure of immortality. Jackie Chan's career and other films from this era. The Myth stands out among the films Jackie Chan was doing around this time. After achieving global fame with films like Rush Hour and Shanghai Noon, Chan took a slightly different turn with projects that included period pieces and more serious roles. Other notable films from this period include The Medallion, 2003, Around the World in 80 Days, 2004, and New Police Story, 2004. What's great about The Myth is that it allows Chan to show off his action skills in a fresh way, mixing adventure with the kind of martial arts expertise that has made him famous. In addition, it's a film that is still fun for his fans, but has a grander, more epic feel compared to some of his earlier movies. Comparison to other movies. In terms of similar movies, The Myth reminds me a bit of Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Tomb Raider, both of which combine adventure, treasure hunts, and action with a mythological twist. The comparison to Indiana Jones is particularly apt, as The Myth follows the same kind of global adventure, diving into historical lore while pushing the characters through dangerous escapades. While it's definitely not a Raiders clone, The Myth does tap into a similar vibe with its mixture of comedy, action, and mystery. You get the adventure, the treasure, and a little touch of ancient mysticism that makes these films so engaging. But where The Myth stands apart is in Jackie Chan's unique blend of humor and action, and the way he holds together both a modern and period storyline with ease. The visuals. One of the cool aspects of The Myth is its production design, with gorgeous visuals that transport you from present day Hong Kong to ancient China. The sets, costumes, and locations feel rich and authentic to the period they're depicting, giving the film a solid sense of place. The action, too, is beautifully shot with sweeping landscapes and intricate fight choreography that make you feel like you're a part of the story. Final thoughts. Overall, The Myth 2005 might not be one of Jackie Chan's most well known films internationally, but it stands as a solid and entertaining entry in his filmography. It blends humor, action, and adventure with historical and mythological storytelling, offering a fun experience for fans of Chan's work or fans of action adventure films in general. If you're a fan of Jackie Chan, enjoy epic action sequences, or love movies that mix mythology and adventure, The Myth is definitely worth watching. It's a fun ride that offers a different take on the action genre, and it's especially enjoyable for those who love Chan's stunts and charisma.